Hello and welcome. My name is TCGO, and today we're going over a Vanguard Zero deck focused around Imperial Daughter. Imperial Daughter is a very unique Grade 3, whose main use is that she has extra power on your opponent's turn. If you have no rear guards, this unit gets plus 10,000 power and plus 1 critical. Basically means that by herself, she will be 21,000 and hitting hard. Now she comes with a few restrictions. She has restraints, so she can't attack, and to remove the restraint, you need to counterblast one and put one of your other rear guards into your soul, and that loss of restraint only lasts until the end of the turn. So you'll have to do this every turn to keep attacking with her. Now when you want to attack, it's worth it, but this deck doesn't always want to attack. One of its win conditions is simply wait out the game until your opponent decks out, because having to hit for more than 21,000 every turn can get difficult for some decks. The other win condition is, as always, do damage, and thanks to its extra critical naturally, and playing all the critical triggers, we can get there pretty easily. Now the rest of the deck is entirely focused around helping her. So we're starting with our Grade 0, Lozenge Magus, who will send herself back to the deck and draw a card, and she goes back as a heal trigger. So this deck essentially plays 5 heals, making it even harder for the opponent to defeat you. They have to deal 6 damage, and most of the time they'll only be doing 1 damage a turn, because it's difficult to get to 21,000 without any help. Now for Grade 1s, we're using 2 copies of Battle Sister Coco. When placed, look at the top card of your deck and put it back on top or on bottom. She's just there to help a little. You can see if the top deck is a trigger, if not you put it down. If it's the Imperial Daughter, you can play down a Dark Cat to draw it. Since the deck entirely focuses on her, you want to draw her as soon as possible. After you've used her, you'll probably be putting her straight into the soul to keep her off the field, using Imperial Daughter's effect, obviously. Now, we're using 4 Sentinels, Battle Sister Chocolate. You always want to play 4 Sentinels unless you don't have access to them. If you do, play 4. We're playing 4 Dark Cats. When placed, all players draw a card. Again, the Dark Cat will help for drawing your Imperial Daughter as soon as you can. Alternatively, if you're trying to win by deck out, playing Dark Cat will force your opponent to draw another card, getting them that much closer to decking out. And we are playing 3 copies of Luckbird. When placed, Soul Blast 2 and draw a card. By the time you get to your Grade 3, you will have 2 Soul Blasts. So, you can remove both of those 2 souls. You can remove both of those souls to draw a card. Then use Imperial Daughter to put the Luckbird right back into the soul, adding 1 to the soul. On the next turn, you'll use Imperial Daughter again to put 1 more card in the soul, and that'll leave you at 2. So, after that, you play down Luckbird, draw 2, and put Luckbird back into the soul with Imperial Daughter. For our Grade 2s, we're simply looking to do damage. The only one that's a little more complex is Silent Tom, because every Oracle Think Tank deck should be playing Silent Tom. Now, I only have 1 copy. If you have more, definitely play more. It's worth it. But during the battle this unit attacked, your opponent's Sentinel does not activate. So if they're at 5 damage, you can finish off the game with this. But you don't want to attempt it unless you're sure you can finish it, or pretty sure that they won't hit a heal. Because normally 8,000 is not enough to get over the Vanguard. So you want to support Tom with a Grade 1 in the back. And if you don't win, that Grade 1 is going to interfere with Imperial Daughter's 21,000 attack. So you got to make sure that you use Silent Tom correctly. Other than that, all the others are just hit hard. Battle Sister Mocha, we're using 4 copies. If your hand has 3 more cards, this unit gets plus 3,000. So it's an 11,000 attacker. We're playing 4 Wisemen, who's no ability, just 10,000 attacker. And 4 copies of Promise Daughter. When she attacks, you can discard a card from your hand to get plus 5,000 until end of that battle. Now this is pretty important right now, because a lot of decks are ride chains, and many of them have a specific Grade 2 that will have 12,000 power whenever their Vanguard is part of that ride chain. In order to hit 12,000, you need a little more help, and you don't want to have to put down a Grade 1 in the back in order to get there. Imperial Daughter requires you to have no cards on the field. Having intercepts on the field is fine because your opponent has to attack them first. So once he takes out the intercepts, your Imperial Daughter will go right back up to being 12,000 power. I'm sorry, 21,000 power. So, because of that, we're using Promise Daughter. That way you can get over the 12,000 attack rear guards without needing to put any more support in the back. You can just discard an extra grade 3 or grade 1 you're not going to play. Yeah, but don't discard grade 2s, you want your intercepts. Right, so that makes up all the grade 2s. For the grade 3s, obviously we're going Imperial Daughter. We have 4 of them. As a backup, if you haven't drawn Imperial Daughter yet, Apollon makes for a good backup. When he hits, Counterblast 2 to draw 2 cards and return a card from your hand. So on top of drawing extra cards to draw your Sentinels, to draw your Imperial Daughters, it also puts a heal trigger back into the deck if you happen to have one in your hands. On the rear guard, when the attack hits Counterblast 2 to draw a card, we're not going to use that effect a lot because we don't want grade 3s on our rear guard circles. Your opponent has no obligation to actually attack them, so usually they're just going to sit there, get ignored, and prevent our daughter from hitting 21,000 power on their turn. We are playing 4 copies of Sakuya. You don't really want to use her at all, so she's the heal trigger. But if you're forced to have to play her because you haven't drawn Apollon or Imperial Daughter, at least she's a 1400 naturally, so you don't have to have anything behind her to power her up. She's just 14,000. She'll be able to get over 11,000 attackers, Vanguard, sorry, without needing to be boosted. Also, when placed, return all of your rear guards to your hand, which could be useful if for some reason you were forced to play a lot of cards down early. You can ride Sakuya, get everything back, and then next turn ride the Imperial Daughter. And our last 13th grade 3 is 1 single copy of CEO Amaterasu. During your turn, if your hand has 2 or more cards, it's also plus 4,000, so just like Sakuya. Again, we're mainly using her because she won't need a booster to be able to hit your opponent's Vanguard, and you don't want to always rely on getting a trigger. Her other effects, Soul Charge 1 and look at the top card of your deck and put it back on top or on bottom. Could be useful because you get to control more or less what's going to come up. But her Mega Blast is pretty much never going to see use in this deck. When this unit attack hits, Soul Blast 6, Counter Blast 4 to draw 5 cards. Now, you don't have any other cards that Soul Charge besides Imperial Daughter and CEO herself, so there's not a lot of chance you're going to get to 6 Soul by the end of the game. But if you do, draw 5 cards, it could be pretty useful. As triggers, we're playing 4 heals and 9 criticals, because again, the goal of the deck is either stall your opponent out or hit them so fast that they just lose. With that, let's see if we can get into some games, see how we do. Alright, so we are playing against Dimensional Police. And our hand is looking excellent. So we'll go ahead and ride our only grade 1 option, the Luckbird. And bring Magus down. And done with turn 1. Okay, so this Dimensional Police deck looks like it's going to be an Enigma deck. Yep. So that's a fun ride chain. And we'll see. I'm not too familiar with what the grade 3 Enigmas are capable of. Oh, we'll find that out when it gets there. Wasted critical? That's okay. So for our grade 2, we have some options, but I'm going to go with Wiseman, because he's just a straight 10,000. And we're not going to call anything else. We want to use our other attackers to get rid of his intercepts. So we'll go here. Boosting it up. Not necessary to boost it, but we want to send Magus back into the deck. Well, the critical trigger's nice though. Started off strong. Okay, a wasted stand trigger, but a useful draw trigger. Alright. That also takes 2 triggers out of the deck for when I do have my Imperial Daughter. Alright, looks like we got ourselves another luck bird. So we've gotten all 3 of our birds. That's a grade 2 Enigma coming down. Enigma Wave. When ripples into soul plus 1000. When it hits a Vanguard, if it was 14,000 or greater, right before attacking, draw a card. Okay. Good stuff. When it's placed, discard a grade 3 from your hand to add an Enigma Storm. Right. Looks like he's got the whole chain. We'll take a damage, and since he's not at 14, he's not going to get its extra effects. He's not going to draw a card. But we will still take 1 damage. And we'll heal the damage. So right back to 2. And now we get to call Imperial Daughter. Or rather, ride. There you go. I have plenty of grade 2s in my hand. I'm not going to call them all, I'm only going to call 1, because the goal is just to get rid of his intercepts. So we're going to go with Apollon. No, we're going to go with Apollon. Wiseman. Apollon's the grade 3. We're going to go with Wiseman. No, that's right. We're going to play down our Luckbird. And use the effect to draw a card. And with that, we will put Luckbird straight into the soul, so we can unrestrain Imperial Daughter. And it's almost impossible to forget, because the game kind of reminds you that you still can't attack with her. Alright, back to the game. We'll take that out, and Imperial Daughter will definitely hit. We'll have to see if we hit any criticals, though. I really want to hit those critical triggers. That's what they're there for. Perfect. Now, I don't necessarily want to hit a second critical trigger, because I don't know if she has any Sentinels in hand. Okay. So, since we're only doing 2 damage, the Sentinel won't activate. And we'll just put her at 4. The draw trigger is helpful for her. Alright, so now we get to see what Enigma Storm does. We get an animation. Alright. Very simple. Very simple animation. That was like a second, maybe half a second, I don't know. That was very short. Right, so Enigma Storm, what do you do? Waves in the soul, gets plus 1000. When it attacks, hits the Vanguard. If its attack was 15,000 or greater right before the attack, it gets plus 1 critical. Okay. So already he's boosting it up. It's at 13. If he can boost it one more time, or she. If she can boost it one more time, it'll be at 15. That was a cute animation. What do you do? When it hits the Vanguard, one of the units gets plus 3,000. Well, that'll do it. It looks like could not actually hit. So we have nothing to worry about. We're not taking the critical. But we are still taking 1 damage, though. That's not helpful. If you stand during your battle phase, stand your other rear guard in the same column. Huh, interesting. Well, that's why he's playing stand triggers. That's cool. Now back to the game, though. Right, skip. We don't need anything else. We got our Imperial Daughter. Let's start with Battle Sister Coco, and see what the top of the deck has for us. Heal trigger, which will activate, so we're going to leave it right on top. Then, since there's only one intercept, I only have to call one of my own interceptors. I was planning on it. It's just... it can sometimes get simple to forget that she unrestrained, or she gets restrained again every turn. Okay. So, back to the game, we'll go ahead and hit that. And we're going to hit our heal trigger now. Right here. Where the power goes doesn't really matter. Did we get a critical too? No. Okay. So now they're up to 4 damage. And we get to see what else this deck can come up with. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see anything else be ridden. He just needs to have this gain 4,000 power. And we are sitting here without any intercepts, actually. Any sentinels. We haven't drawn a single sentinel yet. Okay, main phase. You got anything for me? Replacing her grade 3 with another. What do you do? Counterblast 2 to have one of your other units gain plus 4,000. So that's all set up. But lucky for us, there is no intercept. Okay, so we're gonna take 2 damage because of the critical. We're just waiting for it to happen. There it goes. Okay. Are we gonna keep it at 2 damage? Okay, just 2. I mean, I say just 2, but 2 is still a lot. So nothing and nothing. Okay, now that we're at 4 damage and matching our opponent, we would like to hit a heal. Just see real quick. I still have access to 3 heals. The opponent has been disconnected. Did they quit? I hope not. Okay. It looks like they are back. And we get to keep playing. So now that we've put cards back into the soul, we can play down Luckbird, draw a card, and put it into the soul for our Imperial Daughter. Perfect. I was hoping we'd get a Sentinel at some point. Now, activate skill. Unrestrained. And we don't need to call any of our intercepts. So all we have to do is attack straight into their Vanguard. Do they have an interest? Or do they have a Sentinel? Probably. If they have the Sentinel, they were going to use it either way. I'd rather get them out of the hand. Okay, they do have a Sentinel. But now she has to find a way to get back to 21,000 in order to hit me. And checking the log again, they have used 8 triggers so far. 8 triggers, 18 cards left in the deck. 5 of them could be triggers. 4 of them could be triggers, but that does let that get back to the 2 criticals. I'm not worried. I have the Sentinel in my hand. Hopefully you get some more triggers out of this, though. I'd like to see some more wasted triggers. No. Darn. Oh, that's okay. There's good for us. We're still at 4 damage, and they don't have any more counterblasts. And they still are not at grade. They don't have grade 2 on the field, so no intercepts either. Right skip. Opponent has been disconnected. I hope they come back. This is gonna be fun. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to call our Apollon and put him into the soul for Imperial Daughter's effect. With any luck, there's no more Sentinels. You should always play assuming they have Sentinels in hand. Let's go. First check. Second check. Alright, heal trigger. Perfect. Puts us down to 3, so this game is gonna go on for a little while longer. And there is no Sentinel in hand, so this is guaranteed 2 damage. So close. With that heal, it's going to take a little while longer. Okay. What that does do, though, is that gives her 2 counterblasts. And it also confirms that she did not have a Sentinel in hand. So, as long as we're safe for this turn, which, sitting at 21,000, we're probably safe. And we have that Sentinel in hand. We'll finish this game next turn. So. Okay. Ah, I see. He's gonna attack, since it won't hit, but it will give the Enigma Storm 2000, giving him that extra critical back. This is a game where both our Vanguards have an effect that gives them extra criticals. That's pretty fun. Draw trigger, I like seeing that. Well, actually no, because now that can hit. Oh well. So our Sentinel's gonna activate, stop this attack, and then he'll do 1 damage with his other rear guards. That's fine. We'll be put at 4 damage, and like I said, this next turn will probably be the last one. Okay. Oh, we don't want any triggers, just regular card. Ah. Damn. Darn. But that's okay. We drew a heal. Normally not good, but it is our Lozenge Magus, which will just get sent back into the deck. So how do we want to run this? You know, I am going to finish it this turn. How many heals do you have access to? You've used 3, so you only have 1. So I can play this in a specific way to guarantee that we win. By playing Silent Tom and boosting him with Magus. That's a 1300 column right there that he can't guard. If he does have an intercept in hand. Opponent gave up. Okay, so we're playing against Kagero this time. What kind of Kagero, I don't know, but we'll find out. Now, Kageros do have, like, generic ways to hit for 21. So, either he's not playing any of those, or... Oh yeah, we're gonna have a hard time. Okay. So we'll start off with Dark Cats. And give my opponent a gift. And we draw another cat. I'm not gonna play it though. It's gonna go straight into battle. Then we get a quick critical. Ooh. It's always nice to see a critical on your first attack. Alright, so we got rid of a Sentinel and a Draconic Overlord. Looks like we draw another Luckbird. There are plenty of grade 1 options. Not a lot of grade 2s. Bellicosity Dragon. Yeah, I like that combo. Counterblast 1, search for your Sentinel, and then hit with Bellicosity and countercharge it. Okay, so this is not going to be a problem for us, because we're usually not going to have grade 1s on our rear guard. We lost the Mocha. No problem. As far as what we ride for grade 2, we don't have... Okay, we have 2 options. And since this doesn't look like Amber Dragons, I don't have to worry about the 12k rear guard. So I'm just going to ride Promise Daughter. And keep Mocha around for later. She'll be more useful later on. We're not going to play anything else. We're just going to attack and do 1 damage. No crit this time. Oh, they get a heal. Nice for them. That's okay, we have 5 of those. There he is, Draconic Overlord. Now, gotta be careful with him, because he can counterblast 3 to gain 500. So that would put him at 16, plus the 6k booster is math, is 22. That's definitely more than enough to get over Promise Daughter. See, we got a heal too, but not when we wanted it. Does nothing for us. Okay. So, he missed his first one. But not his second. Another thing we have to worry about with Kagura's is the Seal Dragon blockade, because he can ignore your intercepts. Normally your intercepts have to be attacked first, which would let Imperial Daughter just bump up to 21, but not when the Vanguard is Seal Dragon blockade. But there's a Seal Dragon in the damage and Draconic Overlord in play. So I think we'll be fine. Now do we go with the cat? Or... Yeah, I'm going to go with Luckbird. Yeah, I'll draw a card. Okay, good. And I'll activate the skill to send her in, or it in. And since there are no intercepts, we don't have to play anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're good on hand size. We're just gonna battle. We have 21 and 2 crits. Or 2 damage. How are we gonna... Hey, that heal worked. That's great. Didn't need the extra power, but getting that heal out is great. That, though, is interesting. Because that's gonna force out his Sentinel early. Yep. That's a Sentinel out of the hand. And 2 left. Now he's got the challenge of trying to hit for over 21. Again, he could get a critical or any trigger and be able to do that. But he misses the first, and perfect, no damage this turn. Now this time he does have an intercept, so we are going to have to play something else down. That'll be useful later. Now right skip. It looks like we're using Mocha. We'll play Mocha. We'll play down Dark Cat to force both of us to draw. I would like to draw more grade 2s. Thank you. And we'll put the Dark Cat into the soul. Alright, so this time I don't have the extra critical, but I'm still doing 1 damage. Who knows, maybe we'll hit a crit on our drive checks. Check 1. Perfect, crit already. And yeah, we'll give up the power. The power doesn't really matter. Check 2, another crit? No. That's asking for too much. Okay. And with that, we've got him at 4 damage already. But Dragonic Overlord can now use his Counterblast. So he's going to bring himself up to enough to hit both the Mocha and the Vanguard. Interestingly, though, he won't be able to drive check, so if he still has triggers to use, they're not going to come up. Okay. I think he's not going to use it yet. Yeah, he's taking out the rear guard, and he's just going to go for a trigger. Just curious if this works with anything. Yeah, anything that boosts. Okay, so he missed. And he missed. No damage. Gotta love when that happens. It's our turn. If we want to hit again, we need to play another intercept. Alright, skip. Lucky for us, we have plenty of those now. So we're just going to call Wiseman. We'll play down Luckbird. And I think I will draw a card. I'm in a pretty good spot right now. Look at that. That's nice. Now, Counterblast, send the Luckbird into the soul so I can attack with my Imperial Daughter. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 cards in hand, so I have nothing to worry about. Take out Berserk Dragon. Okay. And he still has access to at least 2 more Sentinels. So we'll see what happens. That's a miss. How about a crit? Alright. If he has a Sentinel, it won't hit. If he doesn't have one of his 2 Sentinels remaining, that's probably game. That looks like a Sentinel. Yeah. Alright. So, no game yet. But that is 3 Sentinels down, and he's still having a hard time even doing a damage. I wonder how many triggers he's used now. He has only used 5 triggers, so he has access to a lot of them still. I wonder how many of those are in his hand. Okay. Taking his time to think. Taking a long time to think. Probably trying to figure out how he's going to get over Imperial Daughter. Okay. If he's going for Berserk Dragon, and he's just taking out the rear guard. So again, he's putting all his hopes on getting a trigger. But after missing the last 4, he's probably going to hit one now. Which is fine. I don't mind taking 1 damage. Oh, he didn't attack at all. Wonder why. Oh, we'll right skip. Oh, I know why. Because he doesn't want to get hit by Imperial Daughter. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, too many cards in hand. But I kind of like my hand where it's at. I'm just going to end my turn and see what he does. Whatever I draw will go to the discard, and that's fine. Okay. More intercepts. And again, he's not attacking. So since he is not on the offensive, should we? And if nobody does anything, I'm going to be the one who decks out. So that said, I want him to do damage. Right. Oh, right. Main phase. I'll just call Apollon. If he doesn't want to attack me, I'll attack him. Yeah, that's fine. We'll just sit there. Take out Berserk and done. Basically trying to force him to do at least 1 damage to us. And we also got to take out 2 of his intercepts. So what now? Another Overlord? No problem. 2 grade 3s. Wow. Okay. And now, if he wants, he can attack my Vanguard. He's probably thinking whether he wants to or not. And there it goes. That's fine. I want that damage. Okay. I was kind of hoping he'd hit a trigger on that one. Instead, we lose a critical. Again, he's right to take out Apollon. No reason to leave it there. But now we can work with something. Right, skip. We know that there are 3 Sentinels already used up. So, since he has no intercepts, we can actually play this outright. How many? Wait. Okay, he's only used 2 heals. You know what? I'm gonna try to go for it this turn. And if not, I have 3 Sentinels in hand. I'll be fine. So let's start by playing Silent Tom. We'll boost him up with Luckbird. And we'll play Mocha. And let's see, do I even want to bother unlocking this? Because I can do 1 damage. And then... Oh, but that's not enough. I'll need to hit a critical. Yeah, I need to hit the damage with... I need to attack with my Vanguard. Okay. So, yes. We'll put it into this hole. Alright, and all we want is at least 1 trigger. Give us a trigger, come on. And done. Well, that's actually for 2. Okay, so if he does have the other Sentinel, it will activate now. Otherwise, we're doing 2 damage. There's the Sentinel. Perfect, that's all 4. Now Mocha can hit for 1 damage. And as long as he doesn't get a trigger, we should be able to win. No trigger. Perfect. And Silent Tom will finish things off. No trigger, no heal. Fingers crossed. No heal. There we go. So there you go. 2 fun games with Imperial Daughter. The deck is great, but it does have its problems. Any deck that can consistently hit you for 2100 is going to give you a lot of trouble. And honestly, you don't do too well against those. But when they don't have that way to hit for 21 and depend entirely on their triggers, you can make good use of that. You can take your time while they have a hard time doing even 1 damage. And when they can do damage, it's usually just the 1. So you either win through just critting them to death, or just wait until they run out of cards once they've used their last trigger. So I hope you enjoyed those games, and I do encourage you to give this deck a try. And thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, like, all those good stuff. All the YouTube stuff. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.